Good evening, and welcome to our 10th annual WMGLD 5th grade essay contest award ceremony. This is, as I said, the 10th year that we've had this contest. It all starts back in January when the light department, we go and make presentations to all the 5th graders in Wakefield, both at the Galvin School and at St. Joe's. We talk about where our energy comes from and energy conservation and why conserving energy is very important. We have a great dialogue during those days, and we share a lot of creative ideas. There's a ton of incredible questions that come up. And then following that, there's an essay assigned, and the students they're asked to present their exciting and innovative ways to save energy. So tonight's the big finale of the whole process, showcasing the hard work and talent of all the participating students. With a special focus on tonight we're focusing on the winners. We started with over 250 essays. The judges had a very difficult time narrowing it down to a smaller group. I want to say that we got down to 29 semi-finalists from the Galvin and 3 from St. Joe's. And tonight, our 8 winners are here, most of them. We have one that's missing tonight, and we'll read his essay also. So we had a total of 8 winners, 7 from the Galvin and 1 from St. Joe's. I want to offer special thanks tonight to the coordinators from each school, Ms. Ellie from the 5th grade at the Galvin, and Ms. Christiane Chiodini at St. Joe's. They have been involved in this project since the first year we had it. It's been such a great resource. They've provided the feedback to make it improve each year, little changes that we've made along the way, so we really appreciate their support, their effort, and it's a really fun project that we undertake every year. I'd also like to thank the principals, Dr. Joe Sullivan from St. Joe's and Mr. Adam Colantonio from the Galvin. I'd also like to thank the Assistant Superintendent, Doug Lyons, and Superintendent Kim Smith, Dr. Kim Smith. Without their support, we would not be able to put this on. They've been involved in the judging in the past. They've been involved in coming to present the awards at the end of the program. So their involvement is what makes this really work. So without further ado, I'm going to ask each of our winners to come up and read their essays. We're in alphabetical order. So I'm going to start with Alia.
My fabulous invention, soon to be created, will be able to conserve energy, mainly in buildings, and save you a whole lot of money. My soon-to-be-made invention is called a lightning energy converter. This is how it works. First, you attach a wire to a tall building. My example will be the Empire State Building because lightning strikes the Empire State Building 20 to 25 times every year. Plus, lightning contains 5 billion joules, 5 billion. Second, it will be able to convert the energy from the lightning into energy that we can use. Lastly, it will be safe, so don't think about getting electrocuted. My very creative lightning energy converter will be able to conserve lots and lots of energy. For example, buildings take up lots of energy, especially skyscrapers. I will give you an example of the buildings in New York City. Did you know that the buildings in New York City take up 80% of the energy used in the 490 square kilometer city? Well, it does. Plus, most of it is fossil fuels. So with the lightning energy converter, 5 billion joules will help lower the city's fossil fuel usage. It will be able to send the joules throughout the building using copper wires, since copper is a good conductor of electricity and heat. It is realistic, since people today are able to attach wires on top and around buildings. Also, people today have made mechanisms to convert energy. My very amazing lightning energy converter will be made soon, since it is realistic. It will be able to conserve energy up to 5 billion joules, which is a lot to conserve. It will be able to conserve energy mainly in buildings, since buildings get hit by lightning. It will be able to convert the energy from the lightning into energy that we can use. My soon-to-be-made creation, the lightning energy converter, will conserve energy, give 5 billion joules to buildings, and is realistically safe.
Our next presenter from the Galvin is Yuri Burke.
I think a very good idea to save energy would be a rain generator. It would be a small box on the side of the street with a hole in it to let the water flow inside. The water flowing would power a generator motor inside the box and deliver power to the power line. I think this would be good when it is paired with solar energy, because when the sun is not out and it's raining, the rain generator would be able to power instead of the sun. If many rain generators and solar panels in combination were installed, Wakefield would be much more energy efficient. There would also be household rain generators that connect your computer to the rain generator. Rain generators would be helpful for modern society because most people use electricity every day, and most of that energy comes from non-renewable sources, which are sources of energy that create exhaust. Exhaust can pollute the earth, causing animals to get sick and die. Rain generators and other renewable sources of energy do not pollute the earth.
So our next presenter is Hugo Brown from St. Joe's. And just a note, you're going to notice that the format of this essay is a little bit different. At St. Joe's, they use a little bit of a different prompt. So they also have to, their essay has to involve creativity, but it's also done as a creative writing story. So it takes a whole different perspective, and it makes our judging of essays a lot more fun too, because we have different styles of essays that we get to experience. So you'll notice that Hugo's essay is a little bit different than the others because of the prompt and the request of how they are asked to write their essay. So Hugo Brown.
Squire to the rescue. Pollution hangs heavily over Rickety Town. Rickety Town is polluted because Mayor Plato, an evil talking platypus, burns oil for money. Burned oil pollutes the air and water all around the town. Formed by the buried remains of animals and plants that were alive millions of years ago, oil exists as a burnable product today. The greediest monotreme in town, Plato's coarse brown hair squats upon his large head. The platypus's muddy brown eyes look like old compost. Plato possesses a miniature spiny tail. With dollar signs in his eyes at the sign of a penny, you can tell how selfish he is just by seeing him. That is not the only problem. The whole town wastes energy. If you take a walk at 2 o'clock a.m., you can not only see open refrigerators and running water, but also TVs on without anyone watching them. And of course lots of lights on, or else you wouldn't see all the energy being wasted. Squire the red squirrel gleefully looks out of clear brown eyes and a bushy tail. He doesn't like how Plato burns only oil for energy. Squire thinks it would be much better to have a renewable source of energy as the main source. Renewable energy replenishes faster than it is used and won't run out. Squire was reading the newspaper and saw an article about how the geosheep supplied energy to cities around Rickety Town. Squire was most interested in the part of the article that said, "The geosheep supplies renewable energy called geothermal energy to almost all of Iceland." Squire jumps over to the geosheep's museum. There, Squire is taken on a tour with the geosheep. Squire learns that geothermal energy comes from the heat from inside the earth, and that steam can power generators to create electricity, or can be directly to heat home. Squire decides to work with the geosheep to convince the mayor to use geothermal energy to power the town. Squire hops back to Mayor Plato and holds a meeting. "We should switch to using geothermal energy for sure," stated Squire. "I don't see anything wrong with oil, plus I receive a much better income with oil," replied Plato. "The huge benefits of using geothermal energy all add up to being much greater than using oil to power the town," blurted out the geosheep. "Well, what's better about it? I don't see anything wrong with oil." Squire knew that oil polluted the air and told Plato how bad pollution was for the environment. "Also, geothermal energy will never run out as long as the Earth's warmth exists," exclaimed the geosheep. "Nonsense. All that matters is money," bellowed Plato. At this point, several citizens entered the room. They wanted to make the switch. It was then undecided what to do. In the end, they all decided to have a contest that would show which energy source was superior. Plato and Squire decided to each make a habitat in a glass box and use their energy source to power 2 houses in their separate boxes. The habitat that did better would get to use their power source to power the town. 12 weeks later, Squire and Plato looked inside at the habitats, and a black smog swirled around in Plato's box. Squire's clean box sparkled and looked as good as new. Squire's box was powered by geothermal energy and took up a lot of space, whereas Plato's only took up little. Since geothermal took up so much room and Rickety Town was so small, they came to a compromise. Geothermal energy would be used to power half of the town's energy, and the other half would use oil. All the excited townspeople loved the new energy source. Once they started learning about renewable energy, they also wanted to learn about saving energy. Squire told them about conserving energy. You can conserve energy by turning off lights when you're finished using them. You can open the blinds or curtains to let sun through, turn the heat down, and make sure that you turn off the faucet when you're finished. Slow Shelly the turtle wanted to learn about recycling. Squire answered by saying, you can recycle by depositing recyclable materials such as metal, paper, glass, and plastic in your recycling bin. You can also compost by combining food waste and soil. In the end, Rickety Town developed into a much happier place. You could see the town's buildings more sharply, and the fish in the nearby reservoir repopulated. The mayor's muddy brown eyes cleared up a little. He really liked the town's decision, since he also had stock in the geothermal business. The energy being conserved also helped the world out a lot. Now Rickety Town's fame spread as a place for people to visit because of its cleanliness, and all the animals in Rickety Town happily showed visitors tips for finding clean, sustainable energy.
Our next presenter from the Galvin is Ellie Butler.
Did you know that most of the plastic water bottles sold at Galvin events are not recycled? I went to an a cappella night and it took me by surprise that when I went to throw away my Hershey wrapper that the trash barrel was full of water bottles. I thought to myself, who throws these away? Who does that? According to my internet search, humans produce almost 20,000 plastic bottles every second, and only 7% gets turned into new bottles. Plastic water bottles use a lot of oil to make them, and it can take as many as 450 years for them to decompose. If 600 people can fit into an auditorium at one time, and if everyone bought a water bottle at 2 a cappella shows and 3 Beauty and the Beast productions, in just 3 weeks, that would be 3,000 water bottles thrown into the trash. And this is all before dance recital season. The problem is that at special events at the Galvin, like a cappella nights, plays, dance recitals, and meetings, volunteer staff sell plastic water bottles at intermission, but don't tell people how or where to recycle them. That is a waste of energy because it takes a lot of energy to create water bottles and they don't decompose. The water bottles from special events are just thrown in the trash. A special cart that is designed like a stage would be my invention. The cart would have an attachable, lightweight miniature box that attaches to the top of the cart decorated like a stage. It would have curtains made from red fabric, battery-operated lights, and a fake wooden floor made from cardboard. The stage would have a slightly larger than a water bottle-sized hole at its center. If you drop the water bottle through that hole, the bottle would go down into the cart, hitting a bell on the way or hitting a button that triggered a recording of applause. People entering or exiting the building would see the cart near the doors. It would be attention-grabbing and it would only be out at special events. At the beginning of each event, the MC would tell the audience that there is a new recycling cart that looks like a stage by the entrances, and that it could be appreciated if people used it. The MC could also say that any returned water bottles could be exchanged for a raffle ticket for a lottery for a new show ticket. Another way people could know about it is that when they buy the plastic water bottles, the people selling it to them would point at the recycling bin and there would be signs for it. At intermission, a member of the green team can stand next to the recycle bin, and every time someone puts a water bottle in, they would get a free raffle ticket. At the end of the event, a green team would clean out the cart. They would empty the cart by unlatching the stage from off the cart and taking out the water bottles. Then the green team will put in the school's recycling bin. When you recycle, the bottles go to a recycling center and can be used to make everyday objects. Instead of having 3,200 water bottles in the trash, these would now get recycled. This is realistic and doable. It is easy to make, would not take a lot of money, and most people believe in recycling and will do it if given a chance to. This may be kind of harsh, but you could tell the people selling the food and water that if they don't start recycling the bottles, that they can't sell anything anymore. That should motivate them. It would only be difficult because it relies on volunteers, and it might be hard to get people to do it. But I think student council and student volunteers would help, especially for extra credit.
Our next essay is Audrey Cooke from the Galvin.
Hot water transfer. Have you ever thought of energy conservation and how it could help us not waste as much energy? People use and waste so much energy every day. It costs money and can create pollution from burning of fossil fuels. Electronics, heating houses, and heating water for showers are examples of ways in which energy is wasted. This wasted energy can be reclaimed or reused. If we reuse wasted energy, then it will save money, energy, and create less pollution. I have a great idea on how to save wasted energy. When you go to take a shower, all the hot water gets hot from the burning of fossil fuels, and most hot water is wasted down the drain. I came up with an idea to save wasted heat in the hot water. My idea is to use a heat exchanger. The heat exchanger is a pipe inside another pipe. The water goes down the drain and flows next to the cold water pipe and transfers the heat to the cold water coming in the house. My idea works because the pipes in the heat exchanger will be made out of copper, which is a good conductor. The heat should flow easily from the drain water through the pipe and into the cold water. This is my idea on how to save the energy. My idea is heat water transfer. I will save a lot of wasted energy around the world. Lots of people heat their water by the burning of gas and oil. If people would use my invention, the amount of burning gas and oil will be less. Therefore, people will save money, waste less energy, and cause less pollution. My invention will make the world a better place.
Our next essay is Morgen Donegan from the Galvin.
Have you ever heard of kinetic energy before? If you haven't, it is basically energy produced from movement. For example, when you hit your right fist against your left fist, that hard vibration you feel is kinetic energy. The vibration you feel travel through your hands can be used as electricity. Kinetic electricity can be used for many things, like charging mobile phones. This invention will help save money, time, space, and most importantly, energy. Mobile phones were invented in 1973, and only a few people had them. Now, this invention is one of the most popular tools we use today. Mobile phones are used for more than just communicating. People use cell phones for entertainment, GPS location, and as many computers. But one problem is that the mobile phone has a limited battery life. When the battery dies, it takes a while to charge. What if to charge your phone, all you would need to do is shake it or just walk around with it? The kinetic energy would allow people to always have their phones charged, and there would be no need for all the cords and chargers that lay around people's homes and that are constantly being lost, tangled, and in the way. Some additional benefits for the kinetic energy mobile phone are that they will reduce the amount of pollution that all the cord and charger factories create, and all the electricity it takes to charge the millions of mobile phones on the planet. This invention won't just save money for mobile phones. You can extend this idea to iPads, cameras, and other things that use cords to charge as well. This invention helps save pollution because the factories use energy that creates fumes that leak into the air that cause the earth to be unsanitary. The fumes from the factories that create the mobile phones can even cause death to animals or humans. Kinetic energy can help reduce pollution or even death. Did you know air pollution kills more than 5 million people a year? The most common way to create energy is fossil fuels. Fossil fuels is a non-renewable source of energy. Fossil fuels are coal, natural gas, and animal and plant fossils that existed a long time ago. Fossil fuels are located beneath the Earth's surface. The fuels are fossils that are burned into fumes to create energy. This causes pollution. This idea can be made with a strong case that will come in various colors so you can customize it. Also, it will not break when you go to shake it and drop it. This idea will help many things like pollution and energy. This invention will save energy so people can spend it on other things to help the planet Earth.
Our next essay is Evan Onashock from the Galvin.
My invention that I thought of is a phone that has a solar panel on the back of it. The front looks just like a normal phone, but the back has a solar panel on it. So instead of using lots of energy to charge your phone in an outlet, you can just leave your phone in the window and it will charge. My invention saves energy because instead of using energy to charge your phone in an outlet, you can just leave it in a windowsill. Or if you were in the car going on a trip and you forgot a charger, you can just let the sun hit it and your phone will get charged. I think my invention is realistic because people have houses that run on solar panels, and people have made things that are really hard to make. So I think a solar-powered phone would not be as hard to do. I think it would work because people have made a phone and a solar panel, and they just need to be confined. Think of how many people have phones and how much energy it uses to charge a single phone. But if you use a solar panel, it could save so much more energy. And imagine if everyone had solar panel phones. That's a lot of energy saved. That is my invention that I thought of to conserve energy.
Our final winner from the Galvin was Glenn Calder, and I'll just read his essay. Have you ever wondered how you can save energy to save money on your electric bill? Well, now you can with my new invention. My invention is an app that is connected to your electric bill so that if your bill is getting higher than it was last month, you'll get a notification that tells you the average cost of your electric bill and the one for this month. This app can also email you and tell you that your average from every month and the one that's coming from this month. In the app itself, it will show what you use most and what takes up most energy. Also give you some pointers on how to conserve energy. For example, in the app, it would say something like, if you wash your clothes in cold water, you could save $63 a year. This app works in many different ways to help you conserve energy. This will help you because it helps you understand what you need to use less of, and also tells you how you can use less of what you've been making, what has been making your electric bill so high. This app also gives you tips to conserve energy for things that are in normal houses. This will also tell you what uses the most energy and what uses the least amount of energy, so you can fix what you use the most and use more of what you use the least. This will also fix too how much electricity, which will help the environment. For example, it will cut back on oil usage. It will also fix fossil fuels because that's how most energy is made, and if you use less energy, that means less fossil fuels are used and you pay less money to the electric company. So that's how this app works and how it conserves energy. In my opinion, I think my invention could actually work, and I think it's realistic. One reason I think that my invention could actually work and think it's realistic is if everyone finds out how to make the app, they can work with the electric company to help more people use less energy and make their jobs easier. Another reason I think that my invention could actually work and think it's realistic is if I can get help to make the app, then it would help other people, and that's what I would make this app for. One last way I think my invention could actually work and think it's realistic is that it's possible to make an app. For example, there are YouTube videos on how to make an app. These are the reasons why I think my invention could actually work, and it makes it very realistic. So that was from Glenn Calder, our last winner from the Galvin. First, I want to thank all our essay contest winners tonight. I think we have some very talented fifth graders in Wakefield. I'm blown away every year by the level of creativity, the quality of the writing, and also the technical knowledge. If I had known more about heat exchangers, I would have done better in thermodynamics all the way in college and kinetic energy. And so there's a lot of concepts that are discussed in the fifth grade now that are discussed much later in education. So the fact that this group of students has such a good footing on the math and science and technology fields is just amazing, and it really helps the town a lot. Again, this is our 10th year doing this, so our first essay contest winners are now sophomores in college. That's how long, that's how this has moved through the town. We always encourage all the students to share their ideas at home on both how to conserve energy, but also the creativity with which they're sharing their ideas. So that's a valuable tool for our energy conservation as a whole. One of the things I always share with the students is that when I arrived in Wakefield, our peak all-time energy usage was 51 megawatts. We haven't cracked 49 in 10 years. So you would assume that over time things would go up. We've actually been able to go down. So that happens because of the efforts of the students and the people and the families that are acting smarter and using less energy, and so it does have an impact. So our all-time peak is down almost 2 megawatts over the past 10 years, which is kind of amazing considering all the items that these students talked about with phones and all the proliferation of electronics that have grown over the past 10 years. The fact that we're using a little bit less now is a testament to what people are doing today. So I want to thank everyone. I want to thank Ian Hadley from JC Marketing, who makes this happen every year. I want to thank Commissioner Bill Boudry, who joined us tonight as one of our light commissioners. And I want to thank everybody who came tonight to support our students who did a great job reading their essays. So thank you very much.